you.
Hey, Coach, good to see you.
Yes, sir. You too.
It's funny you mentioned seventh trip because I wanted to talk to you about that. You're in select group with, having 5 rings. There's only, by my count, 18 people with more rings than you. I mean, Brendan's one of them.
Brendan is one.
So,
yeah, he's definitely one. Brendan is one of those guys. I said, Brendan, man, I can never catch you as long as we still continue to work together. But I tell you, it's such a blessing, man. You look at the Giants and the things that we did there as a young coach, having Eli Manning, having Brandon Jacobs and all the guys we had on offense that helped us run the clock. It helped our defense. Our first Super Bowl with the Giants, I think we held the ball for 10 minutes. Tom Brady was sitting over there on the bench. That's the story untold. Yep. That first drive went for 10 minutes, and we kicked the field goal. But you know what? They ate up the clock. So when we came out at the end of that game and we won, 17-14, you look back on it, and it could go right back to that first drive. And so, but having that first one and then winning the next one and then winning another one, you get to a point where you just like, okay, you understand what it takes. You know what it looks like. And so what you try to do is put the guys in positions to make sure that they understand you peak at the right time. And now I'm a little different. I'm not one of those, yelling, screaming, constantly type coaches, but I like to have the guys peaking at the right time. And so, but I've learned that in my own room, how to do that. And so it's been a blessing.
Peaking at the right time, it kind of fits another thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is that you've changed this season, evolved throughout the year. As far as your lineup goes, it seems like you're playing a lot more nickel and dime than you did earlier. Jaden Hicks is getting more involved, so obviously he seems more comfortable. What is it that has just kind of evolved? Has it just been matchup specific, or is it more to the tools of the guys you have?
I think it's more to the guys that we have. As you're going through the season, you are starting to figure out which guys, when the lights come on, who's able to perform and who's consistently performing. And so the guys that you're seeing here, which is our finished product, these are the guys that if we had probably started with at the beginning of the season, all right, we probably would have done some things a little better than when we had guys going in and out trying to find out the chemistry, who's better in this area, who's better in that area. You remember a couple of weeks there, Keith Taylor, 39, was our red zone corner. And that was like for a couple of weeks. And so you're trying to figure out and trying to get different guys together. And that's the beautiful thing is that there are no egos. So when you change a guy, you always have a conversation with him. You don't ever just pull it out of the blue and say, okay, I'm just firing you. You sit him down, you give him the why, and then as you evolve as a defense, what you're doing is you're allowing the best 11 to be on the field for that particular game. And so right now, we have it to a point where it's, hey, these are our best 11 in these certain areas of the field. Like you're going to see Jaden Hicks, in on certain plays, certain packages, certain parts of the field. Or you may see Bryan Cook in certain parts of the field. And so we are now where we want it to be at the beginning of the season. So I'm happy it's happening.
When Jaylen went down, what thought did you think that there was any chance you were going to get him back this year? I
didn't think we were going to get him back. I really didn't. When he went down, I was in my mind, I said, okay, next man up. I'm sad for the young man because he worked so hard to gain the starting position, and then all of a sudden he's out. And so, but I didn't think he was going to get back. And then when I saw him working out a couple of times, and he started, mentally preparing himself for a return, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. When he came back, it energized me, but I just didn't know how the ankle was going to hold up. And so, but now I'm just happy that he was able to fight so hard to get back to where we are. So,
I haven't seen anything like it. I didn't think there was a chance either.
He's getting ready to start in the Super Bowl.
To be that productive. Do you feel, how close is he to being able to play a full game?
I think he's there. I really do. If there's 65 plays in the game, I think he can play 50 of them. Maybe he won't be able to play all of them, but you know what? He's pretty damn close. He really is. So happy to have him.
In this game, obviously, one of the things that's going to be big is going to be the secondary's ability to tackle Saquon. They're going to have to at some point. You have a really good secondary that's physical. How does that begin? I mean, from the draft process of just identifying guys that play and have the physicality that you want and instilling it. How do you build that?
I think you just said it right. So with Coach Don DeLucio and myself, what we do is if he's evaluating a guy, and if a guy if he's shying away from tackling, you grade him down. Now you don't throw him away. You just knock him down and say, okay, this is what we're going to have to work on if we draft this kid. And so you know the kid's strengths and weaknesses when they come into your program. And so we work on tackling all the time. I even woke up this morning and I texted Don and I was like, okay, we need to think of tackling drills today. I'm like, Coach, we don't have any today. I'm like, oh, shoot, I was ready to go tackle. Former linebacker. And so I'm always constantly trying to go block destruction and trying to tackle. And so, but I think, it's just one of those deals that if they don't know how to do something, it's up to us. It's our job to get them at least, all right, to the point where they can go out and perform for us and not embarrass the organization. And so, but we're not going to put somebody out there who is not going to be able to perform the duties that we're asking them to do. And if they shy away from it, we're going to pull them in, we're going to show them this is what you have to do, and we keep working on it.
You seem to be an expert at the tough love. Because clearly you're tough on your guys, but your guys love you back. And I know you love them too, don't you?
I think I do love them. And I think the tough love is, I grew up the youngest of 9 kids. And I didn't have anybody who played with me. I didn't have anybody who I hung with. And I'm kind of a loner in the sense that, I go and hang with the group. And I'll be with the group, and it may look like that, and with my voice, the bass of my voice, it may look like it appear that, okay, wow, he's kind of, angry or upset today. No, it's just I'm a little more reserved, and, I love company. I like the players, and I love being around them, but the tough love is more so, one of those deals that if you do something that you know that you weren't supposed to do, there are perimeters, there's boundaries. You're free to be whoever you want to be within the boundaries. But when you go outside the boundaries, the only thing I'm going to do is tap you back in. And when I tap you back in, it's just getting you back in line with how we do things. And so, the tough love, that probably is something that the players probably, when Coach Merritt, when they call me OBC, old ball coach, when OBC comes around, it's kind of like, hey, let's just make sure we're all acting right. No, be yourself. Let your personality show.
One last question, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Nazeeh, coming back from the injury, there's not a single player I've never talked to that has not said that they feel better in year 2 than year 1. How do you feel about, what you've seen this year, but more importantly next year, how, maybe he can break through and get back from that injury?
I think here's a guy who played nickel in college. Here's a guy who was a Swiss Army knife, and so I am so happy that he came back and that he was able to come back and also start a couple of games for us. So I think Nazeeh's era is up. He's ascending, and he's going to be in a position where he's going to be fighting and competing for a job next year, just like Jaylen Watson, just like Josh Williams. And so that whole group, the Fab Five, one of the things that they've done is they're getting ready to create history. And I told them that their rookie year, I said, you guys are going to change the NFL forever. And they didn't understand what I was talking about. I said, watch what I tell you. And this was when they were rookies. I said, there's something about this group that I felt that they were going to do something special. And here we are, sitting on the cusp of possibly winning the 3rd one in a row. And Nazeeh Johnson, who was injured. Jaylen Watson, who was injured. Bryan Cook, who was injured. Trent McDuffie, before his rookie year, went into training camp injured. Hamstring. All these guys have had something wrong with them. And yet, here we are now, here healthy, ready to go as a group. And Nazeeh is one of those guys that were ascending so quickly last year, and then his injury happened, he didn't come back. And then to come back this year and to feel better, I can't wait until I can't wait. Hold on. I'm waiting. Let me get finished with this year. But I'm excited for his future and what's it's going to bring for him. I am.
Coach, I truly appreciate that.